Half an hour?
Yeah, baby.
You're live?
Yeah, and just check it. Make sure it's going live. Hello, everybody. Oh my goodness. No, you're fine.
Okay.
You're fine, man. We're talking about powerful mindset today, and Jose's making some breakfast, which is a powerful habit. Okay, so what I want to touch on is the difference between that success and failure, building habits which actually support success. All right. So often the desire, the desire to succeed is not strong enough, and therefore the failure habits start to set in. Unconsciously, you are going to go for that failure thing. Now, what I want to share with you is something that a friend of mine, a mentor of mine, shared with me. It was an article called "The Common Denominator of Success." And he said, hey, take some notes about what you thought about it. It's 22 pages. It's an amazing article. And it talks about exactly, what makes someone successful. And one of my biggest takeaways from it was that successful people do the things that failures do not want to do. So it's this battle. It's a legitimate battle against giving into the failure. So, for example, what I've implemented, so you know a little bit about what's going on, is I'm currently touring around Europe, okay? And so I've got a team here. I've got 3 people with me. And what we've implemented is a new training schedule where we get up at 7 a.m. no matter what. Now, the way that we do that is with accountability and consistency, because once you do something enough times, you unconsciously start to do it. And so getting up and having a routine like that, it becomes second nature for you, all right? But just to get into some of my biggest takeaways when it comes to this, because I know it's going to be beneficial, it is literally the one toughest thing that we have to deal with as humans. Doesn't matter who you are, it's still good? Yeah. Doesn't matter who you are, you're going to be struggling with this. That's good. Yeah. Can we leave that open? All right. So this first part that I want to touch on, which is really beneficial, write this down. It's going to help you understand yourself more. It's like if you ever think about starting something and then you give it up. So maybe you go to the gym for 6 days in a row for 1 week, but then you don't go for a month, right? So that defeats the purpose. You're not going to have lasting change. It's almost a waste of your time doing that. Or you've been to, let's say, a 4-day prank. Whoa, baby.
I'm totally fucking this.
Oh my God! What the fuck are you doing? What the hell are you doing? Oh my God! What did you put in that bag?
Just butter.
Oh my goodness, we nearly burnt the apartment down. That is crazy. Gee, that scared me. I'm freaking out over here. Holy moly.
He was about to pour a glass full of water.
No.
Oh my God, we just burnt butter. You know when you put butter in the pan? Yeah, this is live, man. This is live. There's no cutting this. They're seeing the real stuff right now. Is that connection good? Is that connection good on the screen? Anyway, it's good? That was you couldn't, out of all the days that you could just cook breakfast normally, it's today had
Every
to be,
single day was easy. This one.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Or, for example, you go to a transformational seminar for 4 days, like Tony Robbins style. Or what I just went to was a friend of mine had an event. It's actually 9 days, but I only went for 3 or 4 days of it, and it's just completely immersive, right? You go in there and you absorb all of this information. You write down notes upon notes about what you see, and you have these epiphanies, and you get all motivated, and you're like, boom, next week, baby, Monday comes around, I'm going to execute. And then that just dwindles away, and you don't do it. And this is the biggest issue with any type of development, with sticking to anything with the discipline. And so we have to rewire why you are doing it, okay? And you have to stick to the actual schedule that you have. You can't do it once or twice and then not do it one day and then go back to it. You've got to stick to it. And so what allows a successful person to be able to do that? Now, it's not that they don't enjoy the habits or building the habits per se. It's grueling and it sucks. but their desire for the outcome, their desire for the result outweighs their desire to be satisfied with where they're at, doing what they like to do, because they have a bigger vision. So to have a really powerful mindset, you have to think big. There is no question about it. Like, you have to have something that will pull you through those days where you do not want to get up. If you do not have that, then you will fall back unconsciously to the failure habits. It is inevitable. And I have to find this article as well. What made you say to yourself, it's time to leave this life behind and create the one that I desire? Okay, I like this question. What made you say to yourself, it's time? You know what made me say it is going back to complacency. When I would feel myself letting these filthy failure habits take over me, and there's still some there, and that's why, like, always a work in progress. But the major ones, like when I used to go out and I used to party all the time, and I used to, take, substances and things that made me feel like shit for a whole week, and it took me a week to feel good again and get my serotonin levels up, get my dopamine up. I was just like, why am I doing this? And I would get so frustrated with myself. And there's some friends that I still hear, hey, what's up, that are going back into that as well. And it sucks. And you know what I believe it is? Because, this is what happened for me, is my frustration level got so unbearable that I made that change and I made that shift. The other factor for me personally is I had a vision, and I can see myself. Now, to me, it's not even just the vision, but the feeling that I have in myself that is unique to me, which is that flittering little feeling that you have as well, that you have more potential within you. You have a potential, and it is literally your responsibility to fulfill that potential. When you pass through that threshold, now you are in a completely different realm where you have surrendered into your purpose and you are focused on that solely. Okay, maybe you're like this, or you've got friends that are like this. I was very much spread, very thin. Okay, so I would do this, start this thing, and start this new thing, and do this, and do it a little bit, and then stop. So I wasn't getting anything done. All right. So if you do a little bit of everything, really, you're not doing anything well. I was watching something really cool today. It was talking about, I forgot what video this was, but it's like you're a jack of all trades, but a master of nothing. It's like you want to be a master of something. You don't want to be a jack of all trades that half does something. Like, say a big company was interviewing you and they wanted to hire you, and you were just like in this desperate state, like, I can do anything you need me to do, I'll do this, I'll do that. What do you need? I can do that. But it's coming from this energy, like you don't really know one thing, or you don't know something, you haven't focused on something purely. And really, like, the results that I've gotten from putting disciplined, consistent work into coaching, for example, has gotten me to this level. And I could not tell you the moment I passed that threshold. And the reason being is because I know that there is another one to come, and there's another one to come. All right. There is another level for me to go, and you have another level to go as well. So you are required to have a powerful mindset. Otherwise, this will not come to fruition. That's why it's so important to have. Okay. I did a video on Instagram the other day about high status people, about cool people, and how we think, like, we can't hang out with them because you don't believe you're at that level. Your amount of self-worth, your self-esteem isn't at their level. You're not thinking the same. Write down, if you don't have like people that you sort of look up to that are in your life, that are role models, do this as a task, like write it down, like who inspires you, or not even inspires you, but maybe even who annoys you because they're so successful. Yeah. Who triggers you because they are successful and annoys you to the point maybe you see them on social media posting every single day, maybe twice, maybe 3 times a day. Yeah, just gets on your nerves, because the failure person within you, the person that is satisfied with where you're at, is hates seeing people that are successful. Does not like it, because everything is pulling us back. That resistance from the environment, our internal resistance, is pulling us back to not going into the potential. So what I found, again, one last thing I'll share with you with this article, which was amazing, was the different types of habits. So when you have a powerful mindset, you've got to build habits to accompany them. This is the only way to really solidify what you're learning, all right? So what was really, really cool is there were 4 different types, okay? So there's, here, let me say them here. So contacting habits, calling habits, persuading habits, and working habits. And what was really interesting about this is if you can get the first 3, so contacting, calling, persuading, working will inevitably come, all right? Generally, they will just develop. But the first ones are most important. And that's where that grit has to be found for you. What were your main takeaways from the seminars you've been to? Who held those seminars? So the most recent seminar I've been to a couple in the last few months. The most recent one I went to was here in Germany, Berlin. A good friend of mine, Thaddeus Koroma, had his big event here. So it was, like I said, it was 9 days. There was a bunch of different ones throughout it. I went for 3 days of it. The day that I went for like the full day was when they had a bunch of other amazing speakers. Another good friend of mine, Christopher Kai, spoke, and Felix, who's like this cryptocurrency genius, Eli, there was Flavio, John Lee, who I love from London, who's like one of the most expressive speakers I've ever seen, and then Thaddeus himself. Really, I look up to him like so much because of the way he connects. Right? Like what I coach is better connection. So when I see somebody connecting and engaging like that, it's really inspiring and it gives me hope because that is the base level that I want others to get to. I believe everybody deserves to know what that feels like, and not only how it feels like, but the process to get that connection. That's what's most important, okay? So my biggest takeaway there was solidifying and hearing things that I've maybe heard before, but not in that way, not explained in that way. So the thing is, we generally have the information that we need. It's more the push and the motivation, the kick in the ass to actually go and do it. And it can take us hearing it in multiple different ways until we decide to take not just that initial action, but do it again, and again. And so people that are already on that track, going to seminars like this where you're immersed in it, almost like a nightclub, but it's all focused on success and the habits and grinding. You know, I love the mantra that they had at this, which is, are you ready? Born ready. Yeah. Are you ready? Born ready. And you almost tap into this like grit, into this grit, this desire to succeed. And on one hand, people can go to these events and just get that big hit of dopamine. And for other people that are actually ready and they can see that opportunity, that door opening for them, they take that as momentum and go straight into next week and they hit it even harder. There's no stopping. There's no, oh, you did well this week, let's stop. You hustle, hit until you start to realize that what you were aiming to do is becoming your reality now. And you have to think, what's next? What's bigger than this? Because the way I see it personally is once I not only master, but discipline myself to the point where I'm able to unconsciously have success habits which support my power mindset, I will be able to not only influence more people, but actually focus on things that make global change. And not just like, oh, I want to help the planet, but like really deal with the issues that are going on. It's not, oh, I want to get in front of a stage purely just to make like people like, you know, smile and jump around, even though that is very, very powerful in itself, okay? Not just that, but it's like my own things that I'm doing. That's what inspires others. I actually had this really eye-opening conversation with one of the girls that I met at this event, and she was really struggling to find what her passion was. Because she was like, Sarah, I like your energy, and what should I do, you know? I heard that you can like dig into people's like pain and uncover what they're doing and where they should be going. And we had this really eye-opening discussion about passion. And this comes from another mentor of mine, Adam Lyons. And I love what he said to me in terms of going for your dream first. Like, go for the dream first. Put everything into your dream. And if that fails, then go with the backup plan. All right. Go with being the accountant or whatever it is, right? Go for the backup plan. But if you don't go all in on that dream, then you have let yourself down. You have let yourself down because you'll be thinking about that. You'll be regretting never going for that. You'll be that person like sitting, oh, I could have done that. I was going to do that. I had the potential to do that, but you didn't do that. Or even if you didn't do it, even if you tried and you didn't quite get there, as long as you went for it and you put all in, All right, that is what life is. And the real ending to this conversation with this girl was your pain, your struggle, what you go through, your challenges, all right, that is what is going to inspire the next person. If I didn't go through that and am not going through it right now, I cannot resonate with my clients. I cannot resonate with people around me that are also on that track. And you've got to realize you're in the exact same position. You have to commit and realize that grit of the process is what inspires others. If you're somebody watching this and one day or right now you want to be helping other people, why will they listen to you? Why will they listen to you? Are you going through what they're going through? And if you're not, then put yourself in that position where you get to go through what they're going through as well, because that is where you become your future self. You become that successful person. All right, you pass through, and the process is there. I believe there is too much information. There is too much information and too many processes that people they're what's that word? Like they're indulging themselves on the intellectual side of this. They're indulging themselves in the process. Yet, how many of these processes that you've learned in the past year or couple of years have you implemented times 10? Let's take a book out of Grant Cardone here. How many of those processes have you taken and put to the test times 10? Not, oh yeah, I tried it once, Sarah. I gave it a shot. It didn't work for me. Well, you think you try something once and then it just becomes normal? No, you try it again and again and again, over and over again. Some people say it takes 66 days to develop a habit. Some people say it takes 2 weeks to get something to become more of an unconscious habit. I'll tell you from experience in this last week and a half of getting up and going to the gym that it is becoming second nature already at this point. And I know instead of getting lazy, which I've done in the past, I will buckle down even harder. And no matter what, I will get my ass in that gym. No matter what. Okay. There was a day here this week and the gym that we signed up for didn't open till 9. And this was the second day. We didn't realize that. And instead of going, oh, well, let's skip it today, we hunted down another gym. And for some reason, it's really hard to find a gym you can just like drop into in Germany. I don't know why. I had this problem last time. And so we literally pushed through the resistance and found one. And it was a funny story. No, I'm not going to share that. They're probably, if they're watching this, they're like, oh, it's you guys. And we found this gym and we worked out, right? We got to that point because we care about it and we want to accomplish that. And that's what's going to get us over the line. And that's what's going to get us the results. And already after a week and a half, almost 2 weeks, you can feel it. You can feel the difference and it feels good. And so this comes back to giving in and not having a strong enough desire. Because say I get to this point, right, and I'm happy with my results after 2 weeks, do I just give up and eat ice cream for the rest of the week? Or do I just give up now and go back to my old diet, go back to my old habits because, oh, that felt good for a couple of weeks? No, the whole aim of creating the powerful mindset is to do it for long enough until you forget that you are putting alarms on to do a specific activity. And so that becomes you, right? You pass through the invisible threshold. And that is if you're someone, and I say if you're someone that wants to be successful, that's what you have to do, right? The people, anyone that I speak to that is on that same path, it's exactly what you have to do. So you get frustrated about it. I feel I'm sabotaging. Let me go back up. I missed some of your questions up here, guys. If you're liking this, please comment and comment, what are you struggling with? Like, be seen. Let your insecurities be on display. Take away the power from your insecurities, because when you keep them bottled up in here in your body and you never share them, they gain more and more momentum. And with more and more momentum, they have more and more control of you. And so put them on display. Be open and honest about it, all right? And get them out, process them. Do not attach yourself to them. Oh, I am a failure. I am just like that. One amazing recommendation I give to my clients is freeaffirmations.org. Okay, go on there and find not just like affirmation mantras, because humans tend to do that for a little bit and then they give it up, right? Find a very isolated, focused affirmation to do with the struggles that you're dealing with this week. Each week, what are you struggling with? What stopped you from executing this week? Make them around what that specifically is, okay? Let's see here. What were your main takeaways? Did this one. I'm in the process of losing my old habits and shifting into action myself. And I find it so damn hard. Thanks for the amazing content. Yeah, it is so damn hard because the human in us does not want to do this. We don't want to do it. Like, for example, I like this other comparison, which was in the Common Denominator of Success article, right? Okay, we are creatures of habit. We are creatures of habit. And the explanation was in comparison to a machine, which is a creature of momentum. A habit equals momentum translated from concrete to the abstract. Okay, you may have to write that down and really look at it and study it. That's what I did, because it makes so much sense when you look into that. And if we are creatures of habit, then our habits are a pure reflection of how much success we are going to have. So what I would say to you is write down and review what your habits are currently and really objectively look at it and be like, is this helping me? Is this getting me close to where I want to go? Do I even know where I want to go? A lot of us don't even know where we want to go. We have this fire in us and we don't know where to put the focus. We don't know whether to do this thing or that thing. And so we just get stuck doing absolutely nothing. We get caught in inaction. Inaction is the most destructive thing that will happen to you with your development. So if you are in the process of losing the old habits, get ready to rock, baby, because that's the beginning. You are going into battle with failure. Your failure will want to pull you back. Your safety net will want to pull you back. So when you start a new thing, a new program, a new habit schedule, whatever it is, you got to be ready to fight, not just for 1 week, 2 weeks. You got to fight until you pass over into that realm where you actually feel better about it, okay? And this literally led into what I'm saying in terms of the contacting, calling, persuading, and working habits. So they're the 4 major pillars that you want to have when you start to think about what habits to include, because those 4 pillars touch on pretty much everything that you need in terms of relationships, business, and your own personal development as well. So keep that in mind. So it was easier to work on yourself than to tolerate your old self. Exactly. I'm going to say that again. That is powerful. So it was easier to work on yourself than to tolerate your old self. I was sick of tolerating. I was sick of being satisfied with that point, and I got annoyed. I got to the point where I would prefer to work on myself. I would prefer to give up instant gratification than to wallow in my own shit, in my own failure, because that was the point it was getting to, and I could feel myself letting myself down every time I would do that. Could be Jordan Peterson. He said something like, be 80% in 5 areas or 150% in 1. Yeah. And look, if you're someone that's struggling and going in and out of old patterns, I would go for the 150% into 1 until you really build up the powerful mindset that has the capacity to do 5 things at 80%. Start with 150%. Sarah, why did you change your IG? No, RSC anymore. Just because of media retention. It's all the same stuff. It's pretty obvious, guys. I think here we go. I feel like I'm sabotaging myself because I have high standards, which usually I use as an excuse to not talk with women. Yeah, that's a massive excuse. Hiding behind excuses, hiding behind failure mindset. It's pure failure mindset. You have to be playing on your team. If you're not playing to win for yourself, you will get pulled back naturally. You'll naturally go back. Remember, if your desire to be successful is not strong enough and does not outweigh your complacency of satisfaction where you're at, then you will unconsciously be pulled back into failure. And when I say failure, it's the old habits. And look, for another person, that might not even be failure. But for you, if you can feel intuitively that you have more potential, yeah, you are failing yourself. You're letting yourself down. List out all the excuses you give yourself. All right, auto responses. I'll catch myself sometimes. If I don't want to get up in the morning, I'm like, nah, I'm tired, right? And it naturally comes out, but that's not really what you want. What you really want is the result. What you really want is to be a successful person, in my eyes. And so that's not your true grit speaking. That's not the true version, which is going to be your successful self speaking. Any practical diet tips for health? I've got a health guru here. It's what I'm learning is protein. What would you say to them, Jose?
Health, a lot of greens, a lot of protein. You should be eating protein like at least. Well, it also depends on what your goal is, right? Because like putting on muscle and being healthy are like 2 different things. At least for Sarah, what we're working on with her is just like toning out. Making sure she's getting a lot of protein, a lot of muscle repair, and low weights, high reps for tone. because if you want to put on muscle, you want to do high weight and low reps. So it really just depends on your goal. If you just want to like be more overall healthy, like just a better lifestyle health wise, I would say just eat more greens, eat more proteins, not necessarily meat, but just more protein in general. Work out at least 4 to 5 times a week.
Cardio or weights?
A mix of both, a good mix of both. But like I said, it really just depends on your goals. It's all the things that everyone tells you to do. So you eat a little bit healthier, greens, vegetables. You want to eat foods that have less processing. So if you check on the nutrition label on the ingredients, if it has more than 5 ingredients, that means it's highly processed, and you probably want to stay away from those. So and there's tons of health benefits for that, like increased brain function, increased clarity, more energy throughout the day. So it's really like an overall picture. But
is there like one hack that you would say for like health?
Biggest
diet.
Yeah, oatmeal. Like we were actually talking about oatmeal today. She was saying that like oatmeal, whenever she eats oatmeal, she gets really lethargic after that. But like oatmeal I think in Europe they call it porridge. But porridge, it's high in carbs. It's got good fiber on it. It's a superfood is what it is. It's good for cutting. It's good for bulking. I would recommend like implement porridge into your diet in some way for sure.
Yeah. But you know what's funny, and like thanks Jose, like he's explaining things that you've probably heard before, right? You probably heard this like a million times, but why don't you do it? And that's exactly what we're talking about with a powerful mindset. Like, why don't you do it? The information is there. Like, we know what we should do, but the human in us drags us back into that little space in our head that outplays our desire and our purpose. And so really, if you create a concrete desire for results versus a satisfaction for where you're at, that is what's going to pull you ultimately over the line. So again, yeah, you know what it is. I mean, we've got access to Google, guys, believe it or not, right? You can get this information, but it's taking the information into action and not just action, like consistently doing it. We've got 4 minutes, baby. Let me see here. Sarah, is it true that high status can be naturally achieved by wearing earpods during sleep? I don't get that at all. I don't understand that. You're jacked, dude. I like the trolling. I think the trolling's hilarious. Like, it entertains me. Like, I don't know how people come up with these things like on the spot. It's like super entertaining. And then just with the one last thing with affirmations, like start to get into the habit, like, some things that I love in terms of that, one of the biggest pain points that comes up is rejection. And it actually came up in this article that I was reading as well, is like, I wrote it down here. I want to share it with you because it's really powerful. Like, this is it just cuts straight to the point. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, it's so good. Yeah, okay. Humans on average, right, are highly resistant to change. Now listen to this. They will escape efforts. From others who are trying to persuade them to do what they don't want to do. They will directly attack their desire to be appreciated. So the one thing that almost everybody hates is when they get attacked, all right, on their desire to be appreciated by others. This is related to their significance and fitting in with the tribe. It's a survival thing. Like, if you aren't appreciated or you're not significant in your tribe, you're psychologically dead. And so when somebody is feeling attacked and their resistance will speak for them, it'll be like, oh, I don't like you, or what you're saying is wrong, or like they'll outcast you to make you stop doing the thing that they actually want you to do. And so I found that extremely powerful, because with clients that I work with, rejection is one of the toughest things to overcome. So when you start to view it in a completely different way, with affirmations, with habits which crush through that, now suddenly your relationship with rejection will shift. You will love rejection. Rejection is your feedback portal. Rejection tells you your blind spots. When you're equipped with the right understanding of what to look out for blind spots, rejection is your best friend. Okay, you go out there and you're trying to connect with people, so you're practicing how to be more expressive, how to be more emotional, and so you might not know it exactly at first, then you're going to probably fail. You might get rejected. Things like this will happen. And instead of going, I hate myself more and more, you're like, oh, awesome. What can I take from this? Okay. What lessons are here? What is this person attempting to tell me about what's happening in this situation? That is what feeds directly into your powerful mindset. So again, guys, if you like this stuff, please leave your comments on the video. I'm going to be doing a live each week. So when you have questions, make sure you jump on here and get them out, because, you know, getting this information and sharing it and hearing it over and over again, that repetition will get you to the point where you start to really believe it. And think about, what are the challenges that you are facing right now when it comes to directly creating habits of success to support that power mindset? That's what I want to know. So leave in the comments your biggest struggles, your biggest challenges with your development right now. Thanks, guys, and I'll see you soon. I'm going to be going live in my Facebook group. So if you do want to be a part of that, I will also put that in the description. The group is called Female Psychology Secrets. I'll maybe just post it here as well. Okay, Psychology Secrets. And I'll be going live in there as well with some really powerful questions. We get really deep on personal questions of each person that's in that community. All right, so you can find that under Female Psychology Secrets on Facebook. See you guys in there. See you next week. Thanks so much. I really, really appreciate your support, and I'll see you next time.